And we are live. What's going on, everybody? How are you?
We are
Adam,
fine.
Valerio, Nicolo,
Hi
welcome.
guys.
Hi
Hi,
guys.
hi, 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 hi. Hi, everyone.
Let's give it a couple of seconds. I want to make sure that those who are watching from home can hear us. You know, it's a little bit of a hassle every time to have to test this kind of stuff live, but we don't have the resources of Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Okay,
at least the charm, at least the
I
charm.
I do hear the audio, so it should be fine, but let's see what people say from home. Give it a couple of seconds. Anyone watching, let me know if you can hear us. Let me know if the audio is good. I think everything is fine. Nobody's complaining, so I guess we can move forward. Okay, before I introduce today's show, I just want to give a big shout out to our friends at Autodesk, which are the sponsors who allow us to create these challenges. Yeah, thanks a lot, Autodesk, for being there for us and for the community. Today, I'm here with Valerio Del Ferraro, Nicolo Brovelli, and Adam Tubak. No, now, as far as I'm concerned, Nicolo is a returning customer of ours, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys, Fabio, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure being here with you again.
The pleasure it's all
yeah,
mine.
yeah. Thank
And
you.
also, we have Valerio and Adam, which for you guys, it's your first experience in this challenge as winners, right?
Yeah,
Adam,
yeah,
Adam, you look
absolutely.
really smiley.
Yeah, yeah, I
Would you
am.
say
I
First
that
am.
this
place.
is the second best thing that happened to you after your daughter?
Yeah, absolutely. Is she listening? Yeah, I think she's listening. So yeah, it's the second best. Now, of course, it's yeah, no, it's amazing. I've been like, I think as I told you before, it was like one of my life goals was to be among the top three to get into this interview. And yeah, it's all for fame and glory. And yeah, now I don't know what to do with the rest of my life. So
Now, enjoy the fame because it ends here.
yeah.
And Valerio, welcome. This is also your first time in a show with us. Congratulations for placing a number 2, I guess, right?
Yeah. Number 2.
Actually, as we speak and we do a little bit of like introduction, why don't I show all the work that was posted by those who took place in the competition? Fantastic work. I really liked it. You guys cannot see it. You might actually let me see if I can share my screen quickly so that you can see my screen also. There you go. Now you can see the images, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, as I scroll through the images, do you think, any one of you, nobody in particular, do you think that there was an image that actually deserved to win or to place higher?
This
That
one I
you
liked more than mine.
really?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
I just loved, like, I don't know how it pulls you in. And also, of course, Gems, the next one was also amazing. So I don't know. I just like really loved the one with the bicycle, and all the it was so simple, and what's as an image, it just pulled me in. I really loved that one.
It's,
Mm.
sometimes we need to remind ourselves of the fact that this is a competition and random things can happen during the competition, right? Like the decision, it's never as easy as someone wants to think. And we have had the experience already. We invited people to take part in the competition, and then we invited them to be judges, and it was always very funny because they always underestimated how difficult it was to actually judge a work and give the right feedback. There are so many things to consider and to take in account. But anyway,
Yeah, there were
I'm
so many amazing pieces.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even ones that like didn't make it into the show, where I was like, Okay, for example, this one is like
This one,
my winning, like for me. Although I really liked the feedback
and
you
for me,
gave, was also interesting because I haven't thought about that. With the shadow, it would really maybe have given it a little bit more of an edge, but still, it's like I really love this one very much.
You can only nitpick, you know, when the work is so good. I mean,
Yeah.
like I would be incredibly proud of having an image like this in my portfolio, you know, and probably the artist, when he heard me giving the feedback, he was like, "Who the fuck is this fucking guy?" I was like,
Nah,
shut
I
up.
don't think you don't get that good not listening to feedback. So I think Diego has probably also. I love this one as well. It's like how it pulls you in, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
line, it was very Grand Budapest best.
I
Yes.
love
Hotel,
also
like
the images without a direct reference of the Anderson's films and with a sort of interpretation of the theme. I think this one for me is really interesting for this. And it's without, for example, a strong symmetry, and is quite unusual, but has at the same time the atmosphere of an Anderson film.
Yes.
I really
Yeah,
love it.
you're
Yeah.
correct. Like, I think, you know, like, for instance, this work should have had a little bit more credit because of the fact that, you know, the artist did not rely on the basics. He or she, Hugh, Hugh, I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. You're totally right. Valerio, did you want to say something?
no, for
Okay.
me, this image is fantastic for color, for light, for all.
Oh, sorry, guys. I just wanted to say something else. I want to apologize. Jason could not be with us tonight. He had a scheduling conflict with us. But of course, you know, it would have been fun to have him with us. And it's also like
this one. Sorry, before
oh,
you go
sorry.
on, this one I loved as well. But then I found out it's one from the judges. So that's the
Yes.
only reason we all made it to the top.
Yes, and you know, like the judge is actually really into Wes Anderson, and so to be honest with you, like I felt a little bit sad when he told me, because you know I asked him to be a judge, and when he told me that he was really into Wes Anderson, because you know I it would have been nice to see how this image would have done compared to
Yeah.
the others. You know, I thought it was a really good image.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I talked with James afterwards a little bit, and then he also told me about like his love for it, and also, of course, this one. I love that so much. When it came up in the Facebook feed, I was like, "Oh Jesus, it's gonna be hard."
I'm gonna keep scrolling through because eventually we're already
This
a
also is
little bit
really
behind
creative.
schedule. Yeah, I think that the use of the submarine, you know, this was this was also very nice from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuno, right? Also, this, for instance, was a completely different take on the project, and you know, even though it might have failed, I still like to give credit to people for trying and for like you know try and do different things, right?
This one too.
Oh, this one it's twisted in the wrong direction. There you go.
Yeah.
This is from Rustam. Both of them, he entered two images. You know, like people are really going for it. You know, it's crazy. This one was also very good, and when
Yeah.
we actually found out that you know, like this was inspired by the actual poster of the movie,
Yeah, it's a
we
movie
were
poster.
like,
It's really
oh god.
really cool idea also to take like the pieces of the poster and put it in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
do them in 3D.
Like
I
this
love
one
the
too.
colors with this
Yeah.
one.
Amazing.
Did I go through all of them? It seems so. Yeah, okay. And then
Really cool.
we have the three winners. Adams, then Valerio's,
It's so good.
Nicolo's. Unbelievable. All right, so should we start this little chat? Maybe, I don't know, who wants to go first?
That's the
Go
same.
first, and I have to. I hear my daughter's screaming. I'll be back in a second. Just
Go for it.
I'll be here in a second.
Nicolo, you want to go first?
Yeah, okay.
Because I have
okay.
your image open.
Yeah, of course.
So I like to start these conversations by asking, about the feel that you had when you saw the topic. What was going on through your mind? Did you like it? Did you think it was something that you were going to do good with?
Yeah, absolutely. Wes Anderson is one of my favorite filmmaker, and I remember the last time we had a chat. We talked about my passion about Wes Anderson. So when I watched the announcement, I just say, "Wow, I have to do it." Absolutely, and yeah, I focused on Wes Anderson's stories, and especially on feelings that his films convey to me. I just basically put them down on a sheet of paper, and just thought on how can I communicate this kind of atmosphere through an image. That is always a tough work, but I think that it's the aspect that really makes the difference in Anderson's work. Yeah, it's a visual styling that is obviously amazing, stunning. The choice of color palettes is unique, and the symmetrical composition of his one-point perspective is absolutely really cool. But the feelings beyond the stories, I think that are the aspect that really makes the difference. So I start on this. It's about feelings.
Nicolo, can I just say something? There is one thing that happens to me when I watch Wes Anderson movies, which is this unsettling feeling of being in a temporal dimension that has never existed.
Yeah, you're right.
And looking at your image, I see the little kid with the earpieces, but the clothing is, clothing from the 70s, maybe even from the 50s, the 40s. I see the carton bag on the side, but then I also see like a Starbucks cup, which is like, and you find these elements in Wes Anderson movies. You were aware of this, right?
Yeah, it's not a direct reference, but I'm glad to hear it from you, because in Anderson's films there are often weirdness, some strange situations that you can completely understand, and I think this is the most unique aspect of his film. So also the poor boy that is kneeling, collecting tickets with the rich boy that is hearing with his earphones is an opposite feelings that I want to recreate with this.
Nicolo, let me talk to Valerio now. Let me ask him the same question. Because, if I look at the two images, I see such opposites in the way, the approach. And so, Valerio, when you heard about the announcement, what was going on through your mind? What made you take the decision to move in this direction?
I don't know. I love Wes Anderson, and I saw all of his movie. And for me, this image is a sort of mashup of all movie. It's not a copy of frame or image with the character of his film. I want to create an original image. That's it.
To me, looking at it, it almost felt a little bit like one of those intervals that Wes Anderson makes where he tries to explain a little bit of the story. And so, it's a little bit like a flashback to some younger moments of that person. And so, again, like, I was blown away by the whole idea, this contrast between the inside and the outside as sort of like entertainment. I would like to ask you 1,000 questions about this image because it's really something that I'm sort of like thinking about it myself as of now, creating art myself. Was it a sound decision of like saying, okay, I'm going to use nature as a way to describe entertainment through what could possibly be a abstract screen of a cinema? Was that a decision that you made on purpose?
For me, this is a sort of a dream, a surreal image, and the nature is for me the principal symbol of life. That's it. Is for me, this is a construction in girl mind, and this is a sort of clinical or medical theater with a stage, and I want to recreate the meta theatrical sense in the Wes Anderson movie. And I want to create this sense, this feeling.
Well, I think you nailed it,
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it, man.
And for me, yes, this is a flashback, and the subtitle is a narrator quote or girl quote, and explain the decision of diving life.
Valerio, thanks a lot. We'll come back to you. Let me talk now to Adam, the winner for this edition. Adam, it's probably a little bit unfair to say, but I guess that all the judges, when they saw this image, at first, they thought this is the winner. Like, there was no shadow of a doubt.
I cannot agree with that. I was really, really surprised in the end, but I'm glad you see it that way. Because, yeah, I've been a few that I felt were like way better. But yeah, I guess I feel lucky. It's cool. Yeah.
So what was going on through your head when you first heard the announcement?
You don't ask me questions because you know that I'm not able to stop talking.
Do it.
But I had a few thoughts. Like, it was like what actually really helped, because Wes Anderson. I love Wes Anderson, and I love basically all his movies and everything. But I had like so many ideas, and then I got stuck a little. But then you posted this book, which I kind of sat down with my daughter, and we took a few I put in a few post-its to basically like get everything out of it. There are a few things that like you can see in the image if you go through the book and everything. I actually later I found out that there is also this like basically website that it's based that's also basically from the same people, and where you can also put together stuff where I thankfully could pull out the images from my mood board. So I don't know if now or later if it's possible to share my image. I actually thought that I would give just a little breakdown of how I got there. So I'm gonna, I don't know, would share my screen, or should I share it later? You have to allow it.
If you want to do it, you can do it now.
Yeah, okay, but then you have to allow it, and I'm gonna
Hold on, let
share
me
my
see
screen.
how I can make this happen. Should be a stop sharing screen, right?
Yeah, but basically what maybe like to pull back, what there was one feature that was, I was really glad that it got picked up, was that I really wanted to do, and I started trying to build it physically, was the anamorphic lens. But trying to build an anamorphic lens and basically rebuild it, I also wrote with Rafael Rao, who's Silver Wings Effects. He does his, you know, that insane guy who does everything really physically and tries to rebuild shaders from like how they really would work in real life. And yeah, I then I later on I thought like, okay, no, I gotta focus on like the story I want to tell. And so this is just a post effect, but you know, the distortion, the little bit of the barrel distortion, that it's, yeah, the anamorphic lens, Wes Anderson loves it, so I thought that could be a feature that I really want to implement. And then later on, like, yeah,
Adam, by the way, I made you a host, so if you want to share the screen. Oh, and I want to also give a very big shout out to everybody who's watching from home. I just saw that SiNi Software just tuned in. Of course, you know, I forgot to mention, sorry, my fault, to give also a big shout out to our sponsors for the competition. So the sponsors giving out prizes. And so SiNi Software, Maxon, as well as CG Architect. Thanks a lot, everybody, for supporting us, and Autodesk for being the main sponsor for the channel. Adam, do you manage to share your screen?
Yeah, I will. Okay. Whoa. Okay, I should be sharing now. I thought I'd start with the mood board. So I went through a few movies, even some ads he put up, and I knew like I really wanted to implement your submarine because I think it's amazing and I loved it. And I didn't really tweak so much. I put in a few rivets and a little bit of dirt and everything, so it already I really didn't have to do a lot on this at this point. Shout out to my friend Felix, who helped me with a little bit of extrusion problems I had, and he was also a big help. And yeah, I really loved the image in the center of the Joyce Theater in New York, and I thought like playing with this like moving traveling thing that is also featured in Wes Anderson's movies a lot. I thought like I could rework this into like more or less of the entrance of a train station or a station of some sort, and that was my goal. And I think, yeah, I also thought that the Trabi, this old car, which, yeah, is one of also part of my childhood, because I like in during the summers when I was in Hungary, I got to sit in those a few times, and I thought that like it really fits everything. And then when thinking back to my childhood, this is actually a real place, Bankito. It's a really small town. It's not even town, I don't know, just a small place where they have a little lake where you can swim, and there is a bus. When I was a child, there was a bus going there like in the morning and in the evening, and when you got back, and you shouldn't miss, didn't have weren't allowed to miss the bus, because otherwise you were stuck at that that place. And yeah, so it was that little shitty place where I don't think a submarine would even make sense, but it was like something that I thought was so symbolic for Wes Anderson, where he he does these like it's so unproportional of like the things people use and do compared to the situation they're in. So I thought that was so like just funny within like the whole situation. And also like, yeah, you can see the car with all the luggage, and I thought that's just also like such a hilarious picture. I kind of wanted to implement it. You can see over here as well. And also like this image of people just standing in front of people and waiting for something for those few moments was something I really tried to capture. And yeah, something where I struggled a little was on the left side. I'm just like, I didn't prepare, just wait a second. Oh shit! You saw my background image. Oh, I did absolutely not do this for. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Wes Anderson, you got me there.
This
So
is a Wes Anderson shot, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Rather,
It is.
rather a Wes Anderson storyline, right? It's like, did he throw my cat out of the window?
I love the glasses. You just reposted it and I loved it so much. Like also the way you cut this video. So anybody who didn't see this one, it's just a short video from Fabio where he pretty nails the conversation between a client and yeah, designer. It doesn't matter if you're from Arquiz or advertising where I work in. So it's doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I should go
It
back to
just
make
fits.
some comedy videos, right?
Yeah, I'm really missing those. I'm missing the YouTube videos. I just like I just saw like the last one you posted was like 7 months ago. I hope the NFT space didn't eat you up. We need you back in on YouTube.
I'm just taking a break, regrouping. I'll be back,
Okay.
but for now, I'm focusing on the
Amazing.
content for the D2 because I think
Yeah.
that this is as of now probably the most useful content for the community.
Mm. Yeah. Well, at least I'm happy for you for all the challenges you did. It really like kick-started a lot of the stuff I do nowadays in the creativity. Like it just pulled out where I thought it was a bit lost already. I just got it back. So anyway, just a little detail. I really struggled with the left part here in the image where I was like, I don't know exactly. I wanted to put something there. I really rebuilt a phone booth, an old one from the 70s from Hungary, and it just didn't like it just broke the whole yeah, the motion from the right to left, the movement. And I thought like, yeah, what about like just them going to a thermal bath with the whole submarine? It's just so stupid, and it just fit there. So yeah, and then later I was like, what the hell do I do with the colors? I had totally different colors, and of course, like I want to do Wes Anderson colors, but what would fit? And then I was like, hey, wait, just could you could Google it actually, and so yeah, and when you Google Wes Anderson color palettes, you have a pretty wide variety where you
Yeah.
can kind of cheat in. So yeah, I think one of those. I think I went with a submarine, yeah, with a life aquatic, and
Yeah.
it kind of yeah just uh, fit really nicely, and I think I tweaked it just a little, and yeah, that was also great fun.
I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you. It's to
No,
me
I'm done. It was too long already, so I hope I
it
didn't bore you,
blows
but
my
I just
mind
tried to.
how seriously you guys get into this stuff because like I mean, I'm a busy person myself and I try to join into the challenges to see if there is anything that I did not think of doing the competition. But I know that because of my schedule, I cannot dedicate more than a day, maybe a day and a half to the actual competition. And I see all the work that you guys are doing, and I'm like, I am a slacker. There are people here that are really going with the big guns, and they want to win this thing.
I just had so much fun, and Wes Anderson, that topic I just didn't like. I wanted to give it like my best, and I think there are already a few things that I could have done more, and there were even more details. But when I like what I did in the end is like looking at it. Oh, now I closed it, but really small, and then you like in the thumbnail, it was just not as clear as the older
Yeah.
version where I didn't have so much details in it. So I actually like took out a lot of like dirt from the walls and everything, so to keep it a bit more like yeah, more contrasty and clearer, and that I think helped to make it a bit more readable for the eye in the end. So I also
Adam,
had to think a lot about like what you guys said in in old
competitions.
challenges. Yeah, and I really like taking part in these. Like really, I think it shaped and shaped a lot of things. I like how I do things and what I try to think of. And also Mike Golden, shout out to him. A lot of his inputs and critiques are something that I still like hear in my head when I do stuff. How it
Yes.
like
I
how to
think
make things pop out.
he's got one of the most resourceful YouTube channels out there with a lot of content and a lot of things. And if you do not know him already, go and check him out, Mike Golden Drokis, because he's got a lot of, he does a lot of these shows, and he teaches and he talks a lot about all the aspects of digital art. But anyway, Adam, I'm gonna take the mic away from you.
Yeah.
let me go back
I'm sorry.
to Nicolo. Let me share my screen again. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, Adam, you gotta make me a host again.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay, now we can go all in. No, I'm gonna give it back. And yes.
All right.
And also, I hope I also wanted to ask like 1 or 2 questions. I hope,
of course,
like
of
I can
course.
still post them to the other winners, because I like
you can do that if you like. You can do that if you like, because my questions are always the same. But if you have different questions, then please. I'm showing the image of Nicolo. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. If you, Adam, don't have any questions, then I'm gonna go.
Well, I give myself a break so people hear another voice.
So Nicolo, let me just ask you to break down a little bit the process of creating this image. And feel free to go technical if you feel like going technical, or if you want to talk a little bit more about the abstract thinking of this image.
Yeah, the process is quite simple, because I just sketch.
You do that by hand or in 3D?
Hand.
Okay.
Yeah, by hand. I always start with a hand drawing, and the model of the train is simple, so I model it from scratch, and I've just added some details that I picked up from the web, like the wall lamps and some props. And
how long did you spend in modeling this?
A few hours.
Okay.
I did it in 3-4 days, 2 weekends maybe. And yeah, and then I've just add all the details, like the dirt of the glossiness on the table, on the surface on the table, some leakage up of the windows, and some window stains on the glass, and so on. I focused basically on a few materials, on lighting and texturing, like the ceiling, like because I think the plastic ceiling is immediately reminds me an atmosphere of an old train, and so on. I used I worked more on characters, because I think that the role of the characters are were the most important thing, because they break the symmetry of the image. The train.
Did you model the characters yourself?
No. I don't know they are basically I think 3 models that I turn around and put an hat and just change in post-production little details to change a little bit. And yeah, and I'm a little bit sad because
but Stan Lee, you put Stan Lee there, right?
But you haven't catched the real Easter egg of the scene, that on the left, if you watch, there's a fox that is reading a newspaper.
Oh!
Oh man!
He's recognizable by his pose.
Yeah, I thought,
and,
like, because maybe
I don't see
I've never
it.
seen this.
Maybe there were gloves or something,
No, that's really cool. I actually have, like, in my car, there's also a guy reading a map in the back, but like they're just small details, like we put in, and we sit there for an hour working on that, and basically nobody ever sees it.
We have the worst job on the
folks.
planet reviewing these artworks, because again, like, again, you should have a conversation of an hour on each single artwork, you know, to just look at the little things that were.
You have to zoom in. Yeah, and I put also some footprints on the ground.
Oh, right.
Lead
God.
the eye towards the
Now I
fox.
see it.
Is a yeah.
Nicolo, you get double second place this week, okay?
Amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, I had a lot of fun putting some details like this. And yeah.
Valerio, do you want to go next? Do you want to talk a little bit
Okay.
about the process? You know, what you can break down the way you created this image, the way you like.
I made for first an sketch, and I model the scene in Rhinoceros 6, and I model only the wall, the ceiling, and the floor, and the diving platform. The chair is a props free from internet, and I rendered this image with a new engine, with a new real-time rendering software.
This was rendered in real time?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's amazing.
D5 render is a Chinese software based on Unreal Engine 4, and this is a 6K image exported in 4 minutes. And
Jesus,
the model is very simple, and I made this in 1 hour. And the tree is in D5 render, and it has a very large library of model, person, trees, and other stuff. And the post-production was the long step.
The longest part of the process.
Yeah. I work on color, on light, on contrast of primary color. I change color. I change all on Photoshop. And in this image there is a little anamorphic
distortion.
Yeah, but little bit. I don't exaggerate in it, and that's it.
I love the reflections
really
on this.
image.
I love the. No, I don't think it's simple. I think it's really, really cool, amazing. Also,
Thanks.
Yes.
minimalistic maybe from the everything, but there is so much in it. I love it. Love like the reflections. If you say this is a real-time engine, like also on the ground and the ceiling, I love like it's really could be a photo from, I don't know, the 80s from an, I mean,
Yes.
I don't think I don't mean like the subjects in it, but the haptics also, you know what I mean?
There
From
is
the
a
image,
lot of-
it looks like a photograph
agree.
from the 80s.
There is
And
a
also
lot,
the bloom, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so
there is a lot of light filters and
Yeah. You
noise
cinematic
overlay.
impact in the image.
but it's just the right amount. I think like it's so that you can like, of course you can always put stuff on it, but you just I think you nailed like it's that little bit more than subtle, but it's just like it fits. I really love this image. Yeah, it's so cool. Also.
the raw renderings is good, but not than this.
You know, there was a trend a few years back that the rendering had to come out looking good from the frame buffer, right?
Yeah.
And thank God that stopped, because first of all, it was driving us crazy. It's like, how do you do this without having to go into Photoshop? But also, like, I think that Photoshop gives you that freedom to add things without having to, tweak and go back and forth and wait for rendering. I personally think that, does it look good? Then good. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm old school.
Nah, I think in the end, it's really what matters is what you give out, like post or give to your client or whatever. Like I just looked at my raw render and I just realized that I very often don't look back at my raw renders when a project is finished. And I just looked at the raw render and I was like, when I finished with this, how was I so happy with this? Like usually, like if you like the moment you render something, you're like, oh, that's cool, that's amazing, because otherwise you wouldn't have like pushed render if you don't like what you see. But then after like the post-production process, it's just such a big step that when you look back at the raw render, you're like, oh, I'm happy that I like this one, because maybe otherwise I would have stopped. I don't know, but yeah, I love this one too, and it's cool.
I personally have another issue. When I make a render and I post it, up until I post it, I'm like, this is amazing. Well done, Fabio. Pat yourself on the shoulder.
Yeah.
The moment that this is uploaded, I'm like, what the fuck you do, man?
Yeah.
You do not deserve anything. You need to stay awake tonight and don't sleep and think about your mistakes.
I have to quote a very wise man. I think his name is Fabio. He said, this is normal. This is okay. Everybody has this. Every good artist has this too. Yeah.
My God,
Like
we
ups and downs.
The pain and the sorrow that we have, it's self-inflicted, man.
Like usually when I talk like this and at home, I only hear like Esther tells me, Adam, you're an idiot. Stop whining. It's good.
My wife says the same.
After you watching it a lot of time, it's obviously that you hate it.
Yeah.
They want to change everything, and sometimes it's better to have no time, because you have to deliver it. And,
yeah, sometimes when I have too much time,
right choice in few minutes, and you can change it whenever you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you have too much time, like when I have too much time, I sit down and then I start to work on something and like basically get off track, and then I'm like, this is much better, and then I watch like 2 versions earlier and I'm like, shit, this was so much better. How the hell do I get back to that point with these changes, but with these things? And then like I'm trying to like, and then I got this piece of a Frankenstein where parts of it are re-rendered and just stitched together in Photoshop. And yeah, that's why it's good to have a deadline and just like be done with it. That's also true. Oh, fun fact. I think in the middle one, it's actually my face. I think I have some weird where I just swap the textures. Yeah, I think parts. It's a hybrid. It doesn't really work, but it was good that it wasn't like the standard thing. Oh yeah, and he's reading the map because they got lost or something.
Adam, you have already explained a little bit about your process. So let me ask you another question. Looking at the next challenge, which is the Frontier Challenge, let me see if I can find a Frontier. There we go. This is our banner for the next challenge. Looking at this channel, I don't know, at this challenge, I don't know if you had the chance to actually catch the live with the guys from Arcanine, because we're doing this competition together with them. Did you have a chance to look at it and think how you're going to approach this challenge if you do have the time and you want to do it?
Yeah, it's an amazing challenge. For me, I'm full of deliveries, but I promise that I try to do it.
Adam, yeah, I asked you the question, but you never answered.
It's hard. Yeah, I think it's like it's super cool, super intriguing as well. I have the feeling this is a challenge where you have to be really good at what you do. So I don't know if it's something for me. I can't cheat with humor or colors and everything. This really has to, like, I don't know. It's yeah. Maybe I find some idea where I can put in a little bit of humor, but I think, yeah, I think if the winner of this challenge for me, it should like really convey this epic vastness and loneliness that you feel like being out there. And I think Frontier could be anything, but I'd love to see something with, you know, like cold northern hemisphere stuff. Maybe it's a bit cliche on the point, but for me that's something I'm really looking forward to, what people can come up with. But also, of course, if somebody has a nice idea that diverges from this topic a little bit, and it's cool, it's creative, and it just gives it a nice twist, I'm also up for that too, of course. But yeah, I'm curious. Maybe I'll do my best, and let's see. Maybe I come up with something.
Valerio, what about you?
For me, is a good challenge. Is more interesting. For me, is more difficult than the previous challenge for the topic and for the technical
aspect.
Yeah. But I want to try it.
Let me just tell you, in the doubt, put a bloom and glare. Will probably fix everywhere. The problem. Nicolo, oh sorry, Valerio, I interrupted you.
I finish.
Nicolo, what about you?
Yeah, I love working with brushes and I paint over the images. So for me, it's really interesting. I prefer than working with 3D models and reaching photorealism. So I really love the team.
Again, we're in your backyard with this challenge. Make sure that you leave enough time for doing it. Although, you know,
yeah,
you're gonna stay
to
awake.
To improve. Just 2 hours.
Guys, believe it or not, we've been going on for 48 minutes. We're nearing 50 minutes. I was planning to do a 30 minutes conversation, but that's, you know, the beauty of it is that when people that have sort of like the same interests, they get together and time flies, right? It was a pleasure hanging out with you. I am really thankful for the fact that you dedicated this time to me to get to know you and your projects a little bit more. Is there something else that you want to add to this conversation before we say goodbye?
Yeah, just that it was really amazing to see like all the works and I don't know, just to have like made it this far with all of you guys among all these other pieces that were like really super creative, interesting, and yeah, it's humbling to say the least. It's really something pretty cool, like the challenge and everything. I'm just like still really stoked about it.
Yeah, we really thank you. We are glad to be here, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Thanks for the challenge. Thanks for the live. Nothing else.
Thank you for, you know, giving me the time. Again, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Autodesk, Maxon, SiNi and CG Architect. The next challenge is currently going on. There will be a link in the description to the new challenge. You can also find the video. The best thing that you could do maybe as of now is to join our Facebook group, because you find a lot of information and work of other artists in there. All the links will be in the description of the video. I'm gonna stop the stream. Thanks a lot everybody for watching. Guys, don't go anywhere so that I can say goodbye to you as well. Again, thanks everybody for watching, and see you soon again.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And we are out. 100 people watching. That was good.